Hello and welcome back to the meadow. Well, it's been a really long cold spring and it's hard to believe that in just a few weeks this meadow will transform itself from this into this. I'm Trevor Dines from Plant Life, and in the last episode we moved our Highland cows out of the meadow to allow the flowers to grow. Now, most of the wildflowers that will appear here have come from the seed that we've sown in the meadow. But some species like this betony can be slow to establish and need a bit of extra help to get going. So for these things I've collected seed, sown them into trays and grown these little plug plants. And 6 weeks ago I planted loads of these out into the meadow. So I'm just going to pop some of these little betony plants into the field here. Take out your plants. I've got a couple of seedlings in here. Lovely little plant there, and I like to stick them where cow prints are. So a little bit of open ground. Dig that out. And there we are. So let's see how some of those betony plants I put out are doing. And I put out about 100 in the end. I've marked a few of them here. So there's one just down here. And look at that, fantastic new growth on that. That's getting away really strongly, and that'll flower in just a couple of months. So another tip when you're putting out plug plants is to put them into groups of maybe 6 or 8, as that really increases the chances of pollination. Each one of these canes marks where I've put one of these betony plants. And the reason for that is that there's no way that we can create enough plug plants to fill the entire meadow. So what you're doing is almost inoculating small patches, get lots of seed being set, and then over the next few years they'll spread out to the rest of the meadow. So I'm just going to go and see if we can find some of the other plants that we've put out into the meadow here. So one of the rarer meadow plants is Lady's Mantle, and I've just got 1 or 2 plants here in the meadow that have grown from seed, and this is really growing away. Look at that beautiful leaf there. I love the shape of the leaves as they unfold on this one. And here's some Devil's Bit scabious I put out, and these were tiny little plants when I popped them in, so they're growing really nicely now. So down in a damper part of the meadow, at the bottom of the meadow, I've put some bugle plants. They get a bit of shade as well in the afternoon, and they're doing fantastically. Look at this. So here's the bugle, and it's not only producing all these little runners, look at that, for growth in just a few weeks. This is how it spreads, and it'll just spread out into the meadow. But look, it's got a flower spike coming as well. So that'll be in flower in just a couple of weeks. And this one's really exciting for me. This is wood bittervetch, which is a very rare plant in Wales now. As meadows have disappeared, this thing has gone as well. I grew this from seed from a plant on a hedgerow just up the Conway Valley a few years ago. I've now got plants growing in the meadow. So I've grown all the plug plants from seed collected locally and grown here at home. There's some more betony seedlings which will be ready to go out into the meadow next autumn. We've got some field scabious seedlings just starting to germinate after the autumn and winter. They've been in there since last September. And here's some lovely seedlings, really strong seedlings of agrimony, that lovely yellow flowered little plant, which are coming through really strongly. So you can see you don't need any specialist equipment for this. These are all just plants that I've grown outside here. You don't need a greenhouse or anything like that. Keep them moist and shaded, and they'll germinate really well just outside. I always think this is such an exciting time of year. We've got hundreds of dandelions in flower, a few celandines, some daisies, but this is really the calm before the storm. In a couple of weeks' time, this will explode into a riot of flowers and of other wildlife. So join me next time and we'll have a look at what's coming on in the meadow and what's starting that floral extravaganza.